Welcome aboard, all you wonderful groomers, pet stylists, and canine cosmetologists. You found the Traveling Groomers Podcast, where we discuss lessons learned from mobile and house call grooming. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Bear Anthony. Any moment now, we'll be joined by my co-host and friend, retired mobile groomer and educator extraordinaire, Mary Oquendo, and very likely a special guest to help us chat about all things grooming, grooming industry related, and just plain fun digressions that I will totally wrangle back to topic. Grab those travel mugs and climb aboard to see where today's topic will bring us. Let's roll.
Hey there, Chris.
Hey, Mary. I love how I'm so enthusiastic in the opening, like, I'll totally wrangle things back to topic, when that's really only 50, 60% of the time.
Okay.
Well, now that I've got Mary flabbergasted, welcome to episode number 284, recorded on November 13th, and will be airing on November 20th. Yay.
Okay. So this episode is going to be all about the F word.
Dun, dun, dun.
Finance is the first one. And I bring it up because I just filed my BOI report.
What the hell is a BOI report?
I don't know. It's legitimate. You have to do it as a business. And there's definitely something that sounds like we're underwater. But anyway.
I think I need to replace some chords. I will figure some stuff out and try to edit it, at least the audio portion, better.
Okay, so it's BOI. I don't know what it even stands for, but it's something we have to file with the IRS. The website is fincen.gov, and for you to do. Okay, so if somebody wants to charge you like $500 to do it, and the various emails we get and text messages, you can do it yourself, right?
No,
your accountant can do it. My accountant didn't want to do it. I got an email from them this morning saying, hey, coming up on the end of the year, I hope you file the BOI report, because if you have us do it, it's going to run you $250. And so when I called them to find out what my last quarterly tax payment.
my dog is a dumbass.
Okay. So when I called my accountant today to find out what my last quarterly tax payment would be, the reason he set it at $250 is because he wanted people to go, oh, I'm not paying him $250 to do that. I'll do it myself.
Meanwhile, if you really don't want to do it yourself, you're going to pay the $250.
Oh, yeah. So it's like any government website, all right? You're filling out a form. It's not that difficult to do. It won't let you finish it if you haven't filled it out correctly. It'll tell you it's incorrect. All right. So that said, mine is filed. I printed it out. And you know what? Because if you don't do it, if you're a new business for 2024, you had 90 days from the inception of business to do it. But for businesses that have been around for a while, you have until the end of the year to do it. All right. Starting January 1st, if you don't do it, the fine is $500 a day until it reaches 10 grand.
I saw something to that effect. Beneficial ownership information reporting.
Okay, that's it. They're making sure that what they want to know, who benefits from your business, basically. Where does the money, who does the money go to? So anyway, Chris, if you haven't done it, do it. I'm sure you don't want to get fined $500 a day.
Oh, this is annoying. But yeah. No, fine. You know what? And the thing is, that's why I had to Google it, because it sounds. I'm not doubting your word, because I'm like, well, if Mary's telling me this, it must be right. But it sounds scammy as fuck.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Right? It just like, I saw that it might have even been you. I don't know. Somebody posted something on Facebook where I saw that fine so much per day and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that sounds scammy.
Yeah, it really does.
Scam-a-lamma ding dong.
Okay. Now, everyone from the tax people that I've seen is, oh yeah, it takes a few minutes to do. It'll take 15 minutes if you do it correctly. It'll take you longer if you didn't do it correctly.
Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. What?
So anyway, it's a real thing. You need to file it. Okay. It's not difficult to do, like I said. And if you don't fill out something correctly, it'll say, hey, you filled this out incorrectly, do it again. Hey, how many times do you have to do this? I mean, they don't get snarky like that. That was sort of like
It's still like, I'm looking at this and I am clicking on everything to not clicking, but I'm checking to verify the sites. It just seems crazy. I'm sure people will pop in on the comments and say it is either crazy or it's not, but what the hell?
If you do it yourself, okay. So you have the two ways I would recommend that you do it: either go to the site yourself and do it, or have your accountant do it for you. Don't get any emails or texts, hey, you know what? You got to file the BOI. We'll do it for you for $500. No. Don't. But keep in mind, you have until the end of the year. We are coming up on the busy time of the year. So if you don't do it like now, you're going to get swamped and you're going to forget about it. And this is for businesses. This is not for employees, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Wild. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to stop staring at that, because now I'm going to fall down that. I'm just going to be cranky at it and then do it.
Do it, Chris. Just do it.
I mean, no, I'm going to be cranky at it first. So
I was cranky at it as well. And it took me about 4 times to do it because I put in the wrong reporting agency in it. The reporting thing is your name of your business, not you personally. Okay. So once I was like, oh, they want the reporting agency to be the name of the business. Oh, I see that now. Let me go do it again. So yeah, don't feel bad if it takes you more than one time to do it, because it took me, I think, 4.
Fun.
And it's still, even with 4 times doing it, it was less than a half hour.
Okay. I should be able to I'll should be able to keep that under wraps without my head absolutely exploding, because it's been a little bit of a minorly head explodey day. Afternoon, last half hour, let's be positive. Just because one head explodey thing happens doesn't mean your entire day is head explodey. Right, Mary?
Correct.
Yeah. So on that note, I don't know what I was going to say. So are we going to talk about some of the other F's we're talking about today?
Yes, we will. But the other finance, you want to continue with finance, or you want to take a commercial break first?
I want to take a commercial break first. Let's stay more or less on point. We'll be back in 30 seconds. As a house call groomer, the idea of van and generator maintenance had kept me out of one for years. But Hanvey Engineering and Design has been making mobile grooming vans for 20 years now and has thought of that. No generator to maintain, repair, and replace. No propane to fill or worry about running out in the middle of winter. Hanvey vans have the lowest operating costs out there. I know I'm sold. but check out their latest innovations for yourself at hanvy.com. See, that was quick. And I managed not to yell at my dog who's getting into everything tonight. Everything.
Okay. All right. So back to the F word, finances. Okay. Yeah, I know. We are coming up on the end of the year, and it is 13th of November. Thanksgiving is around the corner, and after Thanksgiving is Christmas, and groomers are going to get really, really busy. This is probably a really good time before that crazed rush comes in to go over your finances and see if that you are still on track for what you think you are. Because that last quarterly tax payment, though technically due January 15th, you need to make sure that that last payment is correct.
I'm just going to nod because you see the glazed look in my eye. I'm like, my accountant says I'm fine. That's one of those things. Like if you hadn't said with the BOI report, if you hadn't said, look, I did it wrong 4 times and it still took me less than a half an hour, I would 100% pay somebody $250 to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
I still wanted, you know what? I still wanted to pay him $250 to do it. Okay. And I'm like, but Dennis, I have $250. I'll give it to you.
So what did he say then? Is he allergic to money?
No, he goes, you can do it, Mary. I have faith in you. You can do it. Okay. Business must be good at his end.
Right. The frustrating thing, and you'll have to send me a link because I can't find where to click to just do it.
All right. I will.
Okay, BOA e-filing. Let me try that.
So what I did, just make sure you're at the .gov site and not
yes. Here it is. Okay. Yeah. I found it. Fine now. It'll get done at some juncture.
Half hour. Okay. So are we done with finances as much as we're going to discuss them?
We're flipping done.
Okay.
Fracking.
Right. So we're going to do I don't know, maybe our own personal episode of Groomers Fight Club today.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ooh, we should see if there's any music for the Fight Club. You're going to have to look for that so you can include it in here.
No. No.
Like ringing of a bell. Well, that's kind of how I feel about the finance part of it.
That's how I feel right now about looking for a sound effect.
Okay, don't worry about it. So,
what the fuck?
So Chris and I have been in the industry quite some time. Okay. Not as long as others, but I think we could be considered seniors in the grooming industry.
I just make me feel old, Mary.
Yeah, well, I'm already old, so whatever. Let's spread the joy around.
Damn it. That is what you did. That is exactly what you did. You spread the goddamn joy. Okay.
All right. So some of the things that used to be normal that we now fight about now. Okay.
Hair plucking and anal glands.
Yes.
We're not really going to
anal glands. Okay. So
we're not really going to go into that. We're just going to be like, this used to be our normal.
It used to be the normal thing. We had something called R7 powder, and you like,
Yes. You put it, and I will say, it does dry out the ear really well if you're worried about there being any moisture or anything in the ear. That it did do. It also sucked all the moisture out of you through your fingertips
yeah, yeah.
like a slug.
And part of the problem is that sometimes I think like vets, they don't want to know what it is we do, just that we do it. Okay. And I think honestly and truly, it was groomers way before vets that said, hey, maybe ear plucking isn't the best for, as a general practice.
Mm-hmm.
There are some dogs that absolutely need to have it done. Okay. But I don't think that's the norm. That's not the norm anymore. That's like every single dog that came in, if it had a piece of hair in it, we removed that hair. Yeah.
Like literally, there were 3 hairs in the ears. Ooh, we got to get those out.
Yeah.
And we were chastised for not, because then the groom was incomplete.
There was, and this is not something I ever personally did, but I have witnessed it, where they took the hemostat scissors, got a clump of hair, locked them, and twirled them, yanked.
Now, playing devil's advocate, there's the twirl and yank versus what I was legit, like several people taught me to do this when I was starting, is you don't yank, you just kind of keep twirling, because as you keep twirling, it'll grasp the hair on the edges and they'll kind of come out slower. And it was supposed to be less painful because it came out slower.
All right. So, but the bottom line is, what? Unless the dog needed to have hair, okay? It was getting pain to grooming, which was another reason that, dogs didn't like to have grooming, because they're going to get the hair pulled out. I'm thinking, if I'm having hairs pulled out of any orifice in my body, and it's going to hurt. So if I went to my hairdresser and they're yanking hairs out, I'm not going to be all that inclined to go or be happy about it.
I'm not a big fan of waxing. I mean, I like sometimes the results for like my eyebrows and stuff, and I've gotten my armpits waxed, but it still hurts.
Yep. So I'm glad that is a case-by-case thing that groomers do now.
Yep. I am glad that is not in every dog every day.
Why, okay, you know what? If you've never been told why it's not a good idea to yank every single hair, all right? So you pull out the hairs, you're pulling hair out of the pores, those pores are open, all right? And it can lead to bacterial infections of all sorts of ooky things in the ear, okay?
That's a very technical medical term, by the way.
Oogie. Yes, it is. Oogie. I'm sure I'll pull out my emergency, what is it? American Business Handbook of Emergency and Veterinarian Treatments, 10th edition. I just did it in an instructor training class a couple of days ago. I'm sure the word oogie is somewhere as an actual medical term, I think.
And we joke, but I've also been told by vets to use terms like that so that they can't accuse us of diagnosing. Yeah. Because it's so not a medical term. We're not diagnosing.
It's ooky.
It's ooky, and stinky is not a scientific diagnostic of anything. No.
Okay. So that was so ear plucking was a big thing. And I probably did ear plucking for I don't know how many years. And for me, it was the vet. One of my clients, the ear powder, okay? Some of the ear powder went past the ear canal, went down to the bottom, where it doesn't dissolve. It takes So they had to get on there and remove the ear powder that was in the ear.
Could the dog magically hear again? Like those stories of like people who get clumps of wax removed, or they stuck a cotton ball down there, or a doctor stuck a cotton ball down there when they were 7 and 20 years later.
Oh, you mean I'm not hard of hearing?
What? I thought I was deaf. It was a cotton ball and wax. Yeah.
So maybe it was a mini poodle. So quite possibly.
It's quite possible.
But yeah, and you know what? Sometimes I think when you listen to your clients, yeah, we all know that he said, she said, my vet said this, and you're like, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
all right. But sometimes there's still a grain of truth in there.
Yeah, we have to kind of be detectives and find them and figure out those grains of truth and where they come from. And my rap is not cooperating. There we go.
After that, he just said that. Well, then you know what? My option is just to take the hair that comes out easily.
Yeah.
She was okay. And you know what? It didn't. Turns out when the hair that just came out easily, so that was like a learning experience for me. I stopped using the ear powder. I'm not sure what I even did with like the last bottle that I have. I probably tossed it. It probably turned into a solid cake somewhere in my van.
Probably.
Probably.
And I know we've talked about this before, but it still comes up all the time. Earlier today, I had a client ask me if I did Chloe's anal glands because she's had 2 issues with it rupturing prior. And I went, that's why I don't do it. Inside the dog vet, outside the dog me. Even if Dr. Callie, I love you. Even if I just do the finger and no, I'm not trained for that. It's inside the dog. I'm not.
I'm sorry. That is like the grossest thing you could possibly do. And when one of my own dogs needed to have the glands expressed, I took him down to the vet. The vet smacked the glove on her hand.
Yep.
She stuck her finger in there. And I was just like, how much are you charging me for this? Can we tip you?
Can we tip you? That's exactly. Oh. People who've listened to me for a while know exactly where my mind is now going. Or almost exactly, because that sounds like an episode of a reality show I watched once about the Bunny Ranch, where Air Force Amy went.
Oh yeah, we saw that. You don't have to go further.
I always get flowers the day after this one particular act, like she gets flowers. And I'm like, that's exactly how we feel when the vet smacks on the glove and does anal glands. We're like, do we need to tip you? Do we need to send flowers and chocolate? Was this, I don't know, happened here?
And okay, this is back in the day. I mean, this has got to be 25 years ago. And so the vet charged me, again, 25 years ago, charged me like $23. And I'm like, you did not charge me enough. I don't care. You did not charge me to do this.
To do what you did. Oh no. What's worse was, and then we'll do a commercial break to recover from this. But one year on our wedding anniversary, we took our dog Una to the vet because she hadn't like pooped in 2 days. And the vet gloved up and rooted around back there. And I'm like, oh, no, just no. It was like, she was not in there up to her elbow. She was probably only 2 digits and not like all the way to the base of the finger in, but it looked like in my brain that she was like in there. And no.
All right, and I'm just going to say, I was never my policy to do anal glands because no one had ever showed me how to do it. So I never did, as a professional groomer, I have never done anal glands. I've lost one client over that. And it was okay because this was back when I was first went mobile and I was making poor business decisions.
Yeah.
And the poor decision that I made with this particular client was she got a multiple dog discount.
I made that mistake once.
Yeah, so that when she was, like I had to do anal glands, I'm like, no, I don't. I don't do anal glands. I'm so sorry. She'll have to go someplace. I'm gonna go someplace else, and I'm like, do what's best for you.
I'm gonna hit a button, and then I'm gonna come back with a question that may or may not have anything to do with F words. But here we go. Maybe. I've been swiveling for years now with my evolution shears, but I wasn't actually born with a pair of swivel shears in my hands. Check out our website and Facebook page for our library of how-to videos, or give me a shout for a personalized guide. Your hands will thank you. Don't forget, Traveling Groomers Podcast listeners get $10 off and free shipping with the code ON THE ROAD, all one word. What are you waiting for? Give them a try today. Oh, by the way, I got to shoot some new crazy videos. They are doing some Black Friday holiday shopping sales. It started early. Woot woot!
Okay.
But
you know what? I have not done. I'm usually done with Christmas shopping by now. I haven't even started.
I can't with that level of organization. Let me get through Thanksgiving. I have one.
I'm usually done by now. And
I have one Christmas present done.
I have zero.
I have one. And you'll get yours by the end of the month.
I've got zero. I've done nothing. Wandered into a store yesterday before I got my hair done, and I didn't see anything appropriate for you.
I cheated. You'll know why it got done early when you see it. And you're like, oh, okay. She just had to go and roll things over. But the question I had for you, since we're talking about fighting, why do customers think that is going to work?
Okay.
I'll go someplace else. Because I want to say it used to be more of a threat back in the day, where it was, I'll take my business elsewhere. See ya, hate to be ya.
I think it has to do because we are a women-based industry. And that kind of behavior has worked in the past. All right. So, back when I was in corporate, I was myself, two other groomers, and I put up with nothing. I put up with no nonsense from the clients. Of course, I was coming off of 3 teenage daughters. Okay. So my patience level was like non-existent.
And you're also older. Younger people get more shit. Younger people get shit from older people who think they can push them around because they're inexperienced or any of that tomfoolery.
So they talk down. But yeah, it is a younger, but just basically women in general. Okay. Because I've had guys come in, and not even older guys, younger guys come in and try to tell me what I was going to do because that was the way it is. And I'm like, no, dude, you turn around, you go out, you can have a discussion with the store manager, and the store manager's not even going to come in here because he's probably a little afraid of me.
Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing.
Anyway, all right. So it's a perception that it has worked. Arguing, and a lot of this, I do blame corporate for this. The whole, if I complain, I'm going to get a free groom.
I got yelled at a corporate salon once because I told a customer, and I may or may not have had a tone, like one of my personal pets I remember had just passed, and a client wanted to get their dog in, and we didn't have any appointments available because it was like right before Easter or something. And he's like, well, I'll just call someplace else. I'm like, okay, good luck finding something before Easter. And I genuinely meant it as a more of a good luck finding something, as a good luck. I didn't fully mean the second one. But, you know, one of the store managers was like, did you tell a customer good luck finding something before Easter? I said, yeah, it's 4 days before Easter. He needs that. Grooming salons are going to be booked. I don't know what you want me to do.
I don't know. But okay, but getting back to, you know, people tend to walk all over women. Okay. You have to, and sometimes it's hard. And this is one of the things I've always said, that if you have a shop and you have that young groomer who somebody is going to come in and walk all over them, why are they checking in dogs?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Honestly, the shop would have run so much better if, when I worked corporate, that if I was the only one who checked in dogs.
Now, here's another fight for you. Sometimes it can be brushed out. Sometimes it really can be brushed right out, and we will judge things. This is why I don't pre-shave anymore. We will judge things and put our hands on things and be like, oh, this is way too, there's no way I can brush this out. But if we pop them in the tub and not even do a close, open, close, just do a good bath with quality shampoos and decent conditioner, half of it will blow out. And
the problem with is that groomer charging for the time, that's another issue.
Well, yes and no. I think there's two separate issues going on here, because if you're just go, this can't be brushed out, and put the dog on your table and pre-shave it, you should still be charging, because that is extra wear and tear on your blades that you may not have to do. Like, unless the dog is pelted, pop him in the tub first. Because the difference between a 7 and a 3 or a 4, yeah, it's going to take you a little bit of extra time depending, but it's going to be less rough on your blades, and the customer's going to be happier, and it's going to be not as rough on the dog, because you're not tugging and pulling. So it's even if you just shave, basically what I'm saying is, even if you are just shaving the dog down and pre-shaving it, because yes, it's that bad, still charge extra for that. Because when it's that close and that tight to the skin, it's going to take you a little extra time to go slower to make sure you're not catching any moles or catching anything that may be hiding under that matting that you can't see. And it's damaging your blades.
Yes.
So you have to get your stuff sharpened more frequently. But, and when I was with corporate, I had a problem with that, because we weren't trained on how to sell and how to ring things up. We were told to sell add-ons, but we weren't trained on certain and specific things. So I always thought, well, if something is taking me twice as long as it should, and I don't charge anything, am I not stealing time from the company?
No, they're stealing pay from you because you're not getting compensated for the amount of time that you're working.
But that's if I'm instructed to not charge extra. I'm talking in instances where you don't even know, where you go, oh, I'll throw it in, or you don't know. It's a little bit of both. You are absolutely cheating yourself.
And I also think that part of the issue is that, especially for fresh groomers, is the lack of education in our industry, the lack of wanting to get continuing education. all right? Because things have worked this is the way we do things, okay? So when we get back in the day when I got that dog that was, was matted, I was not ever taught with his products and techniques because it was never talked about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, cornstarch came up again the other day in a group because somebody was like, "Can you believe?" Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, "Yeah, no." And then half the comments were like, "No, cornstarch is a valid old school trick,
Yes.
just not talked about anymore." Because now we don't do as the reason for that is now we don't do as much of brushing out before the bath.
Yeah, you know where I first learned about cornstarch?
I'm afraid to ask.
Groomer has it.
Really? Okay, I knew about cornstarch before Groomer has it.
Lisa Leedy, okay? They were all given like matted English sheepdogs, and they had to go to different houses they can get 3 things from a house. Okay, so they're like knocking on people's doors to groom this pet. Okay, this matted English sheepdog. And struck me as that Lisa Leedy's knocking on someone's door, and I believe what she got. I remember two of the items. I don't remember what her third item was. It was a ribbon, cornstarch. I forget what the third thing was that she used to demat that dog.
And how did she
Maybe it
do
was
the
just
ribbon?
to make the dog look pretty. That was it. With the cornstarch.
And what did she use the ribbon for?
Pretty up the dog afterwards.
Oh, okay.
A bow.
Okay.
So that's when I first learned. So I think what's nice about the internet is that is much more information that is available really quickly that wasn't there when we first started.
Ooh. Hang on. It's about that time. I'm going to hit a button. But yeah, let's talk about why that may or may not be. I love being a house call groomer, but I hate doing laundry or worrying about asking my clients for fresh towels. Raypet has solved those problems for me with the Wet Pet disposable towel. Taking up much less space than traditional cotton towels and easy to wring out and reuse, these super soft, comfy, absorbent towels eliminate any cross-contamination concerns between pets. And now their new smaller washcloth size can even help those sensitive eye areas. Great for cleaning out wrinkles gently and thoroughly. Need to keep water bowls for your clients on hand that are easy to disinfect, but hate all the room traditional clanky metal bowls take up? Or just have a very active pet? Their collapsible silicone bowl comes with an aluminum D-ring hook that can be attached to your pet's leash or anywhere else in your van for easy storage. You can get one by itself or in their handy travel kit, along with a set of 3 tick removers and 1 small wet pet towel. So stop by their website to check it out, raypet.net, and tell them the Traveling Groomers sent you. Okie dokie. I can't hold a thought in my head, apparently. Information. That's where I was going before the break. Now, I think it's a little easier to get information now because more people are on social media.
Okay, so back in the day, back when I worked corporate, all right, even if we had Wi-Fi, which we didn't have Wi-Fi in the stores, okay, at best we might have dial-up at home.
Age check whoever just heard the noise in your head. When someone says dial up and you hear the I can't do it, but I can hear it very clearly.
I can hear it, right? And here's the thing too, right? You couldn't use your phone while you were on.
No.
In fact, if somebody called, if you were in the middle of a download, you had to start all over again. And when you see those old time memes where it was, time to download was like 52 hours, those were not exaggerations. That was really the message we would get if we tried to download something from the internet.
Oh, yeah.
So therefore, we didn't have internet at work. So if I had a question, I didn't know something, wasn't like I can go over to Pro Groomer Network and say, hey, I'm working, I got a question, can somebody answer it? And within 15 minutes, I have an answer. There was none of that.
Yeah. No. Unless you could phone a friend and you really knew who might know the answer.
Yes.
But there was, was it Pet Groomer Town Hall? No, that's
petgroomer.com.
There was petgroomer.com, but there was another one too. There were two message boards. It was petgroomer.com and
Lounge.
The Groomers Lounge. That were old school message boards. So before everyone was on Facebook and you had the groups that you could access a lot easier.
So if you think Facebook is wild today, you didn't spend any time on the message boards.
Because with the message boards, you had a name and an avatar that wasn't your real name.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of hiding behind anonymity.
Oh yeah, yeah. So some of the nonsense that goes on, it was nothing compared to the message board.
No. It was bad. So don't let people tell you it's now and current. People always sucked a little bit.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can say that without worrying about offending anyone, because this is why we work with dogs, because we recognize that people, people. So we'll work with dogs. But all right. So let's bring up a fight topic and current information. Frothing. Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, so here's one thing. I retired before frothing became a thing.
Now, I'm still on the fence with frothing, and I will explain why for two reasons. One of them has specifically to do with y'all's beloved duck frother. But one is I do use a bathing system. So unless it is, and I will now froth in conjunction with the bathing system, because if it's like a thick shampoo and a really thick conditioner, I need to break it up before I put it in the tub. There's hair floating, because there's nothing like using a bathing beauty, which I love to death, but there's nothing like putting clumps of conditioner in it and conditioning the dog and then letting the water out. And there's still clumps of conditioner because it didn't fully mix right with all that water. So that, to me, where frothing is great. And it's great to get more product on the dog. My issue is when you're using those duck frothers, are you sterilizing those bottles daily? Like, are you using everything in that frother and sterilizing it and disinfecting it, disinfecting it? What are you eating now, dude?
So my guess is maybe yes, maybe no, because I think people are more aware of sanitation today than they were even 5 years ago.
Oh my God, yes.
Okay. So now there's, oh my God. So
I just did the mental math. 5 years ago was 2019. So yeah, we're a lot more aware of
COVID.
That's not what I'm dead. Not what she meant, but I just did the mental math on that and started
That's probably like
dying
something in the brain that's always gonna be there. Yeah, so I mean, I think it's probably part of our DNA at this point. But anyway, no, I think the knowledge is there. I can remember again. Let's go back in the day. There was somebody in the Connecticut area where they delivered shampoos, and what it was is they would literally make up like from a gallon of shampoo. They would like pre-mix it for you
Mm-hmm.
and sell you like an entire month's worth of pre-mixed shampoo. That was considered normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're paying for more water or just for not having to mix it
Without
yourself?
the convenience of like not having to mix up shampoos every single day.
Yeah.
So
I almost see it, but it's kind of like paying somebody $250 to do your BOI report.
yeah,
It's exactly what that is.
same principle there. But the point being is that now the discussions, when I see them on Facebook about who premixes shampoos, there are more people who are saying, yeah, I know 24 hours is what you have.
Although we still get a lot of this has always been fine. This has always been fine. I've never had a problem. I've never had a
And
problem.
this is my argument for that. Yeah, just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't happen, or you may not be aware that it has indeed happened because nobody connected the dots to you, right? So again, 15 years old, my mother wants a pack of cigarettes from the A&P again at the time, and my father's like, well, since you're going to the A&P, can you pick me up some beer? Okay, I'm obviously 15 years old, okay? So in order to get to the A&P, which diagonally is like right across the street from me, meeting right across the street, over the train tracks, over the highway,
I was going to say, how many lane highway?
4-lane highway,
Uh-huh.
over a creek, okay? And then into like this empty parking lot, and then I can cross the street over to the AP. That's
Now,
what I mean by across the street from my house.
I have to say that the more you tell this story, the more it becomes uphill both ways in the snow.
Yes.
Just
I would cross Sawmill Parkway, okay? 4 lanes. I would cross that all the time. I had never been hit by a car. So is it therefore safe to say that you can run across 4-lane highways and that's fine? Because I never got hit by a car, Chris.
So it's clearly fine and totally safe.
So it must be clearly fine and totally safe. Going across the abandoned train tracks, yeah, that was also good. The creek was also fun.
Well, that actually sounds like it could be legitimately fun.
Yeah. There were like planks across it. You would just cross over it, whatever.
Oh, okay. I was thinking big rocks. There was the log.
Whatever. There was means to cross it easily. But then go into the A&P at 15 and get a carton of cigarettes from my mother and a 6-pack of beer from my father. Or better yet, going into the liquor store to get his Jack Daniels, and the guy going, "It's for your father?" Yeah. And just looking out the store.
Case of wine.
Yeah.
Like a case of wine. Okay. Anyway, but we digress. I am going to take another commercial break, and then we're going to come back with another semi-not fight. And speaking of continuing education, because we either were or will be, join the Andis World Class Education Team each month for live interactive virtual classes. You'll learn new and trending styles, as well as tips and tricks from some of the best groomers in the industry. Whether you're looking for basic skills, trending styles, advanced techniques, or even just ways to spark your creativity, The new amidst grooming education site is your source for finding what you need to create your way for success. Try new techniques, learn from the pros, and grow your confidence today at amidst.com/groomer education. Traveling Groomer Podcast listeners, hey, that's you, can get 25% off your first course today with the code VEGROOMING at checkout on amidst.com/groomer education. So much of today's fighting about things has gone online. I saw a post recently because it came up again. Somebody going, I took my dog to this salon and they broke his jaw.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one.
The problem with that is when dental disease gets so bad, it goes into the jaw and goes into the bone and affects the bone, and the bacteria build up. They can break their jaw by biting, by barking. It can just snap because the bone is that weak. It's the equivalent of the little old lady. She doesn't fall down and break her hip. 90% of the time, her hip breaks and she falls down. Because it's a chicken or the egg scenario. And even if she did manage to fall and then break her hip in the fall, it's because the bones are so brittle. There was an underlying conditions. And people still don't get that. Because with all of the knowledge at our fingers, we still, it's too much. We don't have it. We don't do our proper Google searches.
Well, again, this also goes to like groomers not wanting to have hard conversations with owners because they don't want to have, what's the word I'm looking for, Chris? They don't want to get in somebody's face. They don't want someone getting in their face.
They don't want to be confrontational.
Yeah, thank you. They don't want to be confrontational. Okay. But you know, that little dog with the bad mouth, with the teeth, the worst, oh my God, the worst mouth I ever saw. Literally, I'm pretty sure the only reason teeth were held in place was by the green moss that was growing in its mouth. Okay.
I've seen that.
But you know, those faces hurt. All right.
Yeah.
So you have bad mouths, you have fragile faces. All right. Pet knows it hurts. Right. So they are going to anticipate pain and they're gonna fight you, which is okay. It's like that little old lady with a cane who can barely walk, and she's gonna attack you with whatever it is you have, and you know, all you have to do is like push her over and she's done. It's the same kind of concept with an old dog with bad teeth and that jaw is really fragile. You know, thorough check-ins for the pet. Hey, this mouth is bad. There's some underlying stuff here. I need this documented, right? And depending on how bad. So that dog with literally the green moss, right, was not my client's dog. It was her father's dog who came to live with her. And it was a male Lhasa. So it was an ancient male Lhasa. And took one look at the teeth. I'm like, I am not grooming this dog. I am not. This dog is like 18 years old and is ready to kill me. Okay. From it's like Pooh Bear, you know, with a really bad mouth. That dog actually bites me. I'm probably looking at some sort of bacterial infection for myself. So I guess the mouth hurts, thorough checking. Hey, Chris, what did your dog do now?
Clank, clank in the background as I attempt to dog-proof my office even more. Everything goes in the tub. Sorry about that, Mary.
So doing those thorough check-ins can at least alert you to problems, all right, and whether or not it's safe enough to groom this pet. I had told her, the owner of not the owner, her father's 18-year-old cantankerous male Lhasa with really bad teeth, that I was not grooming that dog. That the only way I could do that is if that dog was fully sedated at the vet. And the vet didn't want to do that. So I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going near this dog.
Yeah. And okay, book recommendation. If you need a fun book to show that things like this have been going on forever, the James Herriot books, the All Creatures Great and Small series. There's also an anthology called Dog Stories by James Herriot, and I don't know if all of it is taken from the books and it's just all the dog stories put together, or if there's some in there that aren't in the books. But there's one where the dog had, I forget the condition, but the eyelashes were tucked under. So the eyelashes were constantly rubbing the dog's eye and irritating it.
Right.
And the vet kept trying to tell this old guy that there was something wrong with his dog that was fixable. It was an easy surgery. It was basically like a eyelash or eyelid lift they did to pull the eyelashes out so it wouldn't keep. And the old guy was like, oh yeah, he's got a bit of a cold in his eye. He's always had a bit of a cold in his eye. That's why his eyes run. He's got a bit, wouldn't listen. So nothing we're facing is truly, truly new when it comes to not listening to issues. And for those of you who aren't going to go and read the book, who are now concerned about said pupper, the other patrons at the bar pitched in and paid for the dog's surgery. And they just kind of nipped off and did it. And the guy was like, oh, he was still oblivious. He was like, oh yeah, the cold cleared up in his eyes. But if you need some light reading to still be dog related, Dog Stories by James Herriot.
Okay. Good
Or
to
any
know.
of the All Creatures Great and Small books.
Okay. Shall we talk about the granddaddy of all groomer fights?
We'll bring it up. We don't have that long left. What is it?
Dawn?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. I'm going to hit a button and we're just going to, what?
Just end with Dawn?
Are you ambitious and motivated? Looking to pivot your career within the pet industry? Hesitant to take the first step? Unsure of how to begin? If so, the Create That Program monthly membership is tailored for you. Gain access to over 20 hours of recorded content, invaluable workbooks, and practical checklists. Additionally, benefit from a monthly group coaching call with Mary Oquendo, a 2-time nominee for Barclay's Contribution to the Industry Award. Are you prepared to make a worthwhile investment in yourself? For just $197 a month, initiate your journey towards leaving a lasting mark on the pet industry by joining Create That Program. Join today at createthatprogram.com.
Okay. Let's sum up Dawn in one. If I go, I have a hairdresser I go to. And I just got my hair done, Chris, a couple days ago. And all it was a cut and a deep condition because I dye my hair a lot. That was it. Okay. $55.
Nice.
How do you think I would feel
if she used Pantene?
If she used Pantene or Suave or whatever
Suave.
Suave.
White Rain. If she used White Rain.
You know? Well, how about that? Let's go in the Wayback Machine. All right. How do you think I would feel if she whipped out that to do my hair.
Yeah.
Or maybe yeah, that deep condition.
Uh-huh.
You got a can of Crisco.
Hey now. Hey now. I'm not going to touch that one because there are people who swear by coconut oil on human hair for different hair types. So I'm not going to touch
Talking about
that fight.
the $6
Tub
can
of
of Crisco, the tub of Crisco. Okay, I'm not talking about coconut oil. Okay? I'm talking about the can of Crisco from the baking aisle of the supermarket that she just pulls out a whole wad and conditions my hair with it. It's, you know what? It's the same principle.
Yeah.
Crisco is not manufactured for conditioning hair.
No.
I mean, yes, maybe. Hold on. I'm going to do a quick Google search. Benefits of Crisco for hair. Let's just see what comes out. Okay, here. Some say Crisco can be used as a hair moisturizer or conditioner because it contains fatty acids and vitamin E.
Yeah.
Okay.
And here's why I say I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole. When I Googled that and I had videos came up of people using it, it was with particular curl types and curl patterns that I have such zero experience with. I'm like, no, yeah, no, nobody come at
But
me.
that's home. Okay.
Well, yes.
Somebody's doing it in their home. That's different. That's not someone's charging me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm just saying it's the same thing. If you go to your hairdresser, how would you feel if instead of using a high-end shampoo and conditioner, they pulled out the Suave and the can of Crisco? And then I paid for that.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would.
There are products that are labeled for human hair, okay? And there are products that are labeled for pets, shampoo and conditioners labeled for pets, for use on pets. Dawn is not labeled for use on pets. And the fact that they use it during oil spills, and even Dawn will tell you, they don't save a whole lot of animals.
Sadly, no, because usually when they get to that state and they get them, they're already in a bad way.
So, and Dawn has made it really clear from multiple emails and letters that it is not recommended for use on pets.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and it's just like, yes, it's a degreasing. Dude, I just put everything in the tub so you wouldn't get to it. Now you want to get in the tub? Come on. I swear it's like having a toddler.
Well-behaved dog right now, right? He's going to sleep in my sweater.
Well, that's because he's little enough you can put him in. If I could carry around Alaric in my sweater, he would also be happy. He would also be happy. Anyway, the long and short of it is, please don't use Dawn. There are better stuff.
There's way better products out there.
There's better products.
Okay.
There just are.
And that are labeled for use on pets. And that has to do then with liability. If something happens with a product, as long as it's labeled for pets, your insurance company is not going to have a heart attack.
Yeah. Because then you could say I was using this appropriate product. I had no knowledge of a
I
prior.
don't think insurance companies
Yeah.
will deny a claim. So let me tell you about a friend of my husband who is an electrician by trade, but his license was through the New York City Transit Authority. It was not through New York State. Okay.
Okay.
License was only good as an electrician while he was working on property for the New York City Transit Authority. In one of his rental properties, he redid the boiler. Okay? And the house went up in flames. And you know what the insurance company told him?
You're not licensed to do that kind of work.
Not licensed to do that. We're denying the claim.
Mm-hmm.
The insurance company, if they have an out not to pay, they will absolutely take it.
Yeah, it will. All right, Mary.
Yes.
We've-
Oh, we do actually have to make a little bit of an announcement.
Oh, we do? Okay.
We're moving from a weekly.
Wait, did we decide that?
Yes, we did. Last phone call we had.
I thought we were still thinking about that.
No, we weren't.
Oh, see, now I thought we were like, I was saying let's start that on the new year, but
We're coming into the busy time of year for you too.
yeah.
So you know what? We're always practicing self-care.
Yeah.
Holistic expectations.
Okay. So we'll go over our schedule when we're done with this.
Change is good, Chris. Say it. Say it.
Change is change.
Change is good. Say it. I want to hear you say it.
Change is the thing that
No, come on.
exists.
Change is good. Change is good for me.
Change exists is a thing. Change
Come on,
isn't
Chris.
the worst thing in the world.
No.
Change is occasionally good. It's not
No.
always good. It's not always good. Nothing is always good or bad.
Okay.
So change isn't necessarily bad. That's all you're going to get me to do right now because I hadn't fully processed it.
Okay. All right. So on that note,
safe travels, guys. We'll see you at some point. Maybe not next week, maybe in 2 weeks. I don't know now. See, I'm confused. All right. Have fun. Well, that was fun. But now it's time to head home. We hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed chatting with you. If there are any topics you'd like us to discuss or guests you want to see join us on this crazy road trip of ours, let us know in the Traveling Groomers Facebook page. Don't forget to thank our sponsors. And see you next week, guys. Safe travels.